It's showtime. Yes, we're a bit early. I just couldn't wait. Haha. I hope everyone is all good in the hood. And this live stream is dedicated to a real cool friend of mine. And I'm sure some of you guys know him already. Over in the US of A, his name is John from Prepper Nation. Now, John just sent me an email. He's got things to do, is a father and all of that, but hopefully he can get back in time and get on the chat. He was in there earlier. So I'm looking for a 5x5, if that's cool, because once we've got that established, we know we can rock and roll, can't we? Shiva Shampoo in the house. Awesome. I've been off of Jason's live streams, and in fact lots, for a while now, but I did see his recent live stream. That was awesome. And yep, 5x5 from Earth Heart. Thank you very much. We're all good. Excellent. So this is really looking good. I'm not expecting lots of people in this live stream this evening, mainly because it's short notice and it's not on a Friday. But listen, the plan is this week is going to be a full-on week. There's going to be a video going up every day at 7 p.m. UK time, and there's going to be a live stream on Wednesday at 8 p.m. and a live stream on Friday at 8 p.m. Now, I've decided to bring the time forward a little bit. It was mainly because I'm fully aware now, based on the feedback from you awesome people, that not everyone can sort of stay up that late, because it's the working day, it's a Friday or during the week, and I know people have to get up early. So I thought, wow, let's bring it forward to 8 o'clock. So let me know if you guys are happy with the new times. If you are, then do you know what? We'll probably do that 8 o'clock all the time. How is that? Awesome. Yes, the Monday Club. Excellent. Alrighty. So yes, it's going to be a massive full-on week this week. So what I'm planning on doing is Friday at the end of this week. That will be probably the last live stream. I might have a week off next week just to get some downtime, because things have been so crazy. So I'm giving y'all the heads up earlier on. Okay. So yeah, we're packing 3 live streams in tonight, so that's awesome. We're currently waiting for people to come into the chat, which is always good. So whilst we're waiting for the people to turn up, where are you guys watching from? That's always cool to see. Now, I did notice that we've got some wicked people from America already. I catch John on the live stream today over at Prepper Nation, and we have a big welcome to the Beaverines in the house. Let me know if you're a Beaverine. You will know what I'm talking about if you follow my good buddy John. And yes, it's been a long time coming, because let me tell you this, I have had so many messages and in the chat and comment section and stuff like that. You've got to check out John Prepper Nation. He looks like me, which I thought was crazy. So I tracked him down, watched some of his videos, and brother, I'm absolutely hooked. He really does speak a lot of sense, this guy, Prepper Nation. So what I'm going to do at the end of this live stream, if I remember, I'm going to put a link to his YouTube channel underneath this one. So if any of you guys don't know anything about my bro across the pond, feel free to check him out. And it's really good to get you guys from America over to the UK. It's fantastic. It really, really is. So we're just going through the chat right now. Like I say, we're currently waiting for people to turn up, because tonight's subject is quite an interesting one. It's something that we all need to be mindful of, especially moving forward in this crazy time frame which we're currently in. We got, wow, check it out, Nebraska. Oh, wow. Never look back. Absolutely, never look back. Who else have we got in here? We got South Wales Fishing from Neath, down south. Hi. We got Fenland Survivor from Fenland, obviously. That's always cool. Oh, brilliant. We got Slave to No Man. What an excellent guy from the BRECON Beacons. And yes, of course, it's lovely. Absolutely. We got Teresa over there in Ohio in the United States. We have got Christopher. Hey, Chris, from Sutton in South London. South London in the house. Speaking of London, I don't know if she's going to be on the chat tonight, but a good friend of the channel, London Girl, she was one of the fortunate ones to win one of those torches which we've done a giveaway for, and it turned up on her birthday. So Wow, chuffed. Absolutely awesome. Oh, Pamela, yes, absolutely, yes, the mailing list for sure. That is something I forgot to do today because I've had loads on, but I'll probably get that done tomorrow. So if you're not signed up to the mailing list, please check the link underneath and you can click onto that, sign up real fast, real easy, and you'll be getting emails every single week. So thank you, Pamela, for that heads up there. The moderators, as ever, doing a fantastic job in this awesome community, and it is an awesome community. And we've got Bessie Four from Cumbria. We've got Gail up there in the Derbyshire Hills, very nice. We've got Mark from Ipswich, and who we got here? Poppy Dogs over in Oldham. Hello, welcome everybody. We got Daryl over there in Ohio, United States. Fantastic. And who else we got? Jeff from Staffordshire. I like your comment earlier about the guy who commented first. Yeah, do you know what I used to do on my YouTube channel for a long, long time? Anyone who commented with the word first, I automatically deleted it because I just thought it was ridiculous. So we got Duster Adventures from East Grinstead. Awesome. DJ Moon from Wicklow over there in Ireland. Fantastic. We have Will all the way from Cincinnati, Ohio. Wow. Awesome. That is awesome to see you guys from the US jumping over. And we got Neil over there in Norfolk. Hi, Neil. How's it going? And look, we have members. Mike, a big congratulations to you, sir, for making it on time from Carlisle. Awesome. Brilliant. Look at this. Shoestring prepper from ULEZ London. Yeah, wow. That's another story for another day. Here we go. Surviving behind liberal lines from California. Hoorah. I'm guessing that you are a former United States Marine, and fair do, sir. Fair do indeed. That's fantastic. Awesome. We have the lovely Isabel here from Landon Wells. Brilliant. Really good to see you over here, honey. That's fantastic. Here we go. Look, Teresa. Beaverines. That's a code word used for them guys over at Prepper Nation. And we got another one. Check it out. VR Lab Girl. Brilliant. Fantastic. Yeah. People are joining on board. Fantastic. We've got Carnival Save Me. Do you know what? I tried that the other day. Yesterday, actually. I just had 2 steaks for dinner. Why not? Do something different. So, yeah, CT USA. I'm not entirely sure where CT is. Maybe you guys can enlighten me. We have got Serenity Bay over in Suffolk. We got the lovely Liz down in Somerset, a beautiful part of the world that is. We have Trisha from West Yorkshire, Leeds in the house. And here we got Argyle Minded, Wolves. So I'm guessing that's in Birmingham area. Fantastic. We've got, yes, there we are. John over there in Leeds. Fantastic. And we've got another 100 people turned up. 339 now in the chat. Welcome. If you can hit the thumbs up while you're in here. You've only got to do it once, and it really helps get this video out there so we can all see what we're talking about in tonight's subject, about the community. When SHTF happens, we should already have communities set up with a place to go, and we all congregate there, and we literally live outside the matrix, for real. It's a very interesting topic tonight, and I'm really keen to see some of your input, because I've got a few notes written down. And yes, once again, entirely inspired from John over at Prepper Nation. And I thought I'd do something very similar, asking our community and indeed John's community as well. So it's a cool thing to do. We've got Russell over in Stoke. That's awesome. This is really cool. We've got Lavender Moon over there in Cheltenham, where the horses like to race. Here we go. Canada, CA, Alberta. Yes, wildfires. I've got a friend, 2 friends actually, out in British Columbia. And do you know what? I might even do a live stream on that probably Wednesday, because there's big developments about that, which I feel we all need to be made aware of, okay? Because we're learning from people in that situation how better it can probably help us moving forward should we find ourselves in an out of control wildfire. Now, yes, we do have them in the UK, very minimal, but it's just a matter of time. Okay, it really is a matter of time. And Pamela, awesome. I believe Pamela is part of the Archaics fraternity. Errants, of course. New Mexico, USA. Yes, where the UFOs love to play around. Good to see you, Pamela. Awesome. We got another one. Jerry, another Beaverines there. We got lots from the US. Oregon, US of A. Now, I'm guessing you're probably about 5 or 6 hours behind us, depending on where you are in the US. It's currently 8 p.m. here in the UK. And you can probably tell by the window there that it's still some relative light outside, so it is going to be getting dark. Yeah, check it out, the Maldives. Do you know what? I love that musical stuff that you do, bro. It's absolutely fantastic. Really, really cool. We got Suzanne over in Nottingham, and we got Steve, another member. Awesome. A place called London. I'm not sure what it is. Probably Ireland, as a guess. I don't know. We've got Carolyn up there in Glasgow. Brilliant. We've got Michael from Oxford. And we've got Grumpy Grandad, Hereford. We've got the wonderful Rachel, as always, in the Cotswold. How cool is that? The Cotswold. Wow. Sounds very posh. Very nice. We've got Mike Symes over in Carlisle, another member, which is always fantastic. And yes, we are getting members joining all the time. It's amazing. You guys really do help the channel grow, seriously, along with everyone else who donates behind the scenes. A big shout out to Margaret if you're watching. It was a truly epic donation from Friday. I didn't find out until the live stream was finished, so big shout out to Margaret there. We've got Bonite Park over in Weymouth down south. Wow, you guys are from all over the place. Look, we got another one. Do you know, there's about 8 already from Ohio. So, Daryl, how you doing, brother? Hope it's all good in the hood. We got Earthheart over there in Nottingham in the UK. Fantastic. Wow. Look at this. No, this is cool. Quack from South Texas. Now, Texas is Zion. Texas is going to be the last place in the US still standing. That's my own personal opinion. Let me know if you think I'm right. Right, what else have we got? Listen, we got tons in here, so I'm bringing it right down, right to the bottom. We got another member in here. Epstein didn't kill himself. Did you send any freebies out? Yeah, 5 torches went out from the live stream the other night, brother, and I'm getting feedback already that people have already received them. So fair play to Olight for getting those really cool flashlights out in double quick time. They are a good company. Oh my God, check it out. The man himself, John. Welcome, my brother, from another mother. All my self-service sex. I'm guessing the guy's mobile. John, Preparation, it is absolutely awesome to see you in here. I know you're extremely busy. And yes, I know the time frames are a little bit out of kilter. And I know I'm a parent as well. I get it. It's absolutely cool, brother. It's absolutely fine. But like I said, John and myself are going to be teaming up maybe in the next 2 weeks or so, something like that. And we are going to be doing a joint live stream. Now, how awesome is that? It's something which my community, John, has been asking for a long time. And yes, it's going to happen. Brother, it's on like Donkey Kong. Absolutely fantastic. Big shout out to John in Preparation in the house. Fantastic. And we got a new member. Welcome, Saki Smile. Members are awesome. Members are truly, truly awesome. What's this? Bad tech too. Yeah, you got it, brother. I hear you. We're rolling. And we got Steve, another member over there in London. Fair play to you, sir. Yeah, I absolutely do. I'm not saying that, bro. It's seriously good. It's something original from my standpoint as regards music. And yeah, respect to you. And I really do love it. So yeah, keep that up. It's really cool. Shout out to Shiva Shampoo in the house. Another errant, of course. So, yes. let's bring it down then, because we got over 400 in it, and we are going to be getting started real soon, guys. So you don't want to be crazy and bug on out of this chat, because it's going to get real pretty damn soon. Okay, so it's brilliant seeing you guys in the chat. It really is. Okay, so we've pretty much got the beaverines in the house. Now we are going to bomb that out of there, just like that, straight into the chat. Now let me know if you're an errant. Okay, if you're an errant and you follow the guy who you know who I'm talking to, stick errant in the chat so we can see how many errants we got in there. We're doing this as we're waiting for a few more people to come along board, because, you know, kids have got to be put to bed and all that stuff. People are getting home late from work. People have just finished cooking tea and tidying all that up. So it's cool getting all of this. Oh, look at that. Kirky Bolly, you're very welcome for leaving such a disrespectful comment. No problem at all, brother. And, you know, what we do with people like that, we ban user and delete their comments. So, bye. Yeah, we're not having no disrespect in this house. And OMG, yes, we have errants in the house. OMG, this is really cool. And errants will be named. Check it out. We got Pamela, we got Rachel, we've got Artem, we've got Squirrel Sniper. Oh my god, don't tread on me. There you go, bro. That flag is just for you, Jack. Good to see you in the house. Always. Shiva Shampoo, of course Shiva's an errant. 100%. And Earthheart's an errant too. Ha ha ha. This is cool. This is really cool. We got Mark, who's an errant too. And who else have we got? We got Koi Koi Joy over in Miami, another errant there. Wow. Look at that. Angie Mac, another one in Scotland. Oh, this is amazing. Paul, another errant in the house from South Wales. We got Belinda. And some of you guys have no idea what I'm talking about when I'm saying errant. Well, errant is literally a person who operates outside of the system, which lots of us are doing right now. And if you want to look more into the term errant, you want to follow my good friend in America from Texas, Jason Brashears, and his YouTube channel is Archaics. And if Shiva also, anyone, if you can put Jason's YouTube channel link, that'd be cool, because we'd love to send people over to Jason for a really cool education. Okay, Sharon as another errant. My goodness, look at this. Doc as well. This is incredible. I really had no idea there's so many errants in the house. Check it out. We've got Bloodnose. This is amazing. The southeast of grid shed. Aaron in the house. This is good. This is really good to see, guys. So, okay, why not? Let's get this show started, because we've spent 18 minutes jibber jabbing. So let's get into the mix. Okay. So, like I said, this entire live stream was 100% inspired by John over at Prepper Nation. Now, we're so grateful to have John here right now, because I know he's told me what he's got to do. So it's a miracle that John's even in comms with us, which is really cool. Oh my God, look at this. Funky for PM. You want me to be Prime Minister? Whew! I better get a good security detail around my ass if I do. My God, that's funny as hell. And we got another errant. And we got another errant. Oh my God. Fantastic. Right, so skills which will be needed in the community when the SHTF comes. And yes, it is going to come one day. Whether you agree or disagree, brother, sister, it's coming. It's the only way. This stuff is coming down. We are already in a very slow, constructed, on purpose collapse. Okay? And at some point, this collapse is going to get people to break away from the nation of the UK into an errant perspective. So these people are going to be operating outside of the system. Okay, they're not going to be in towns and cities. They're not going to be another new member, West Coast 4x4 in a house. Welcome aboard, brother. A member of the Funky Fam, for sure. So yes, there's going to be groups of people setting up when the time's right, when all of this BS starts getting real. Okay, we are only just seeing the start of it. Based on all of the analysts, all of the people that I'm in contact around the world, fellow preppers, we are looking into this daily, and we can literally pull all of these pieces of the jigsaw puzzle together. Now, I have, 116,000 subscribers. John's got a fair few thousand as well. We've got other people, preppers on YouTube with lots of subscribers. And do you know what that means? People like us have access to lots of information from lots of preppers around the world. And we have a good idea, especially when we link up in this prepping community, we're literally got a big heads up of all of this stuff coming down the pipe. It really is. And to have access to the information at key moments in time is very important. And I just love to share whatever I find out with you, the awesome prepping community. And like we said, it's not just a prepping community. This is an aware prepper community. Based on the amounts of variance I've seen there it is. There it is. In your big fat face, it's true. There are people here who are aware. Okay, you can use the term awake if you wish. I'm leaning towards the term aware now, all right, because it's only a matter of time before, when the awake people got hijacked by woke, and it's only a matter of time before they start looking for other terms to jump onto. So I'm calling it an aware community because we are aware of what's going on. We are aware with our endless possibilities. But that's a deep dive session for another video. So, item number 1. And now this is in no certain order, okay? We are going to be talking about skills which are going to be needed in a prepping community living outside of the system at some moment in time moving forward. So, mechanic. Yes, why wouldn't you want a mechanic in your team, in your bug out team, in your community? Whatever term you want to use, it's fine by me, son, as John would say. So yeah, a mechanic. Why wouldn't you want a mechanic? I mean, just think about it. You've got 20, 30, 50, 100, whatever it is in your community living way out in the sticks, away from urban populated areas, and we are off-grid, we are getting by, we are surviving, and we are thriving. You're going to need a mechanic because at some point you're going to need vehicles or something of the like to operate. And if everyone in the community has no clue about the maintenance of vehicles and engines, it's not going to be a good thing. So what we're going to do every now and again, we're going to dive into the chat and bring up some stuff from you guys because this is a community and we need your advice and input. So RJB 10101, get a book on steam engines. Now that is quite interesting. Absolutely. Welcome aboard, Tim. Glad you can make it, brother. Another awesome moderator in the house. God, you want another solo camp? Dude, you're going to be solo pretty soon. Good heavens. So yes, mechanics, definitely, because we are going to be using engines and vehicles. And if something breaks and it can't be fixed or repaired or bodged to keep going, it could be a serious problem, okay? It is going to lead to all sorts of issues within that community, okay? If you really had to go far and wide to collect certain things, if you had to go physically to another community, if you've got no vehicle up and running, it's an issue, okay? So mechanics definitely are worth their weight in gold, in my opinion, when you're looking at communities. Oh, well done. We got our first donation of this evening, and from a member too, which really means a lot. Thank you, Mike. That's really coolly appreciated, sir. Fantastic. Incidentally, if you can support the channel in any way, absolutely very, very welcome and much needed during times like this. Let me tell you, all of that is below the video. And also, you're free to do all of that sort of good stuff in the chat too. So that's awesome. So Another thing, mechanics are absolutely worth the weight in gold, okay? Because like I said, you're going to need vehicles fully operational. What about the off-grid tech guy, okay? So off-grid, you are probably going to be using certain apparatus within that community to make life a lot more easier, to extend your survival capabilities. And yes, 21st century items are going to be extremely helpful. Okay, just imagine that you was in a community and you had no off-grid power, you only had hand tools and stuff. Do you realize how long and arduous it could be to do construction work within that community with no power tools? Let me tell you this, a long time ago, there wasn't no power tools, okay? And it took ages and ages and ages to construct buildings and all sorts of other things to do with what you're probably going to need in an SHTF scenario within the community, okay? It is going to put you at a disadvantage. It is going to make you expel extra calories, which could have been prevented, and it's going to make things go so much faster. Okay, has anyone ever built a house from scratch without any power tools? I bet you anyone you know one has. If you have, then fair play to you, and let us know how long it took and all of the issues that you come across during set project. Okay, so yes, it's really cool. It looks like everyone's just busy in the chat, just chatting, which is cool. So yeah, we want your input about what we're talking about. Okay, so what do you think about someone with technical expertise in the community when it comes to off-grid power? So you're looking at someone who is going to be able to install and maintain solar panels. Okay, you're looking at someone who is going to be setting up a wind turbine or a wind farm. You're looking at someone who really knows their stuff, turning hydropower into electricity. Okay, all of these things are very, very important. Okay, and if you haven't got the items or the kit to start doing that in your community, that's one of the reasons why vehicles are so important. Like I said, mechanics are really needed. Okay, for this is just one reason, whilst they are going to be really, really well sought out mechanics. Okay, because that'll enable guys and girls to leave their community and go out there and find the items which they can bring back and use them to turn into power. You can freely go around anywhere in the UK and you see like road signs with a little solar panel on top, okay? Things like that. I mean, we're talking SHTF, right, when there's no rule or law, okay? When it's absolutely gone to pot. Pretty much all of that sort of stuff will be fair game, in my opinion, okay? Now, we're not openly endorsing people to right now go out there and start vandalizing and stealing those. We're just theorizing in the future regarding communities when an SHTF scenario takes place, okay? So yes, all of the off-grid stuff. And it's not just that, it's a case of knowing how to wire it all up, knowing how to monitor it, knowing how to make sure that the fuses don't get blown and all of that sort of stuff. So you're looking at DC, okay? You're absolutely looking at direct current, 100%. And if you can convert it into AC, alternating current, then fantastic, because you are going to be using inverters to provide just that sort of thing. And it's absolutely going to make things a lot easier when you have things like fridge freezers, anything which requires a 3-pin plug. Why wouldn't you want to convert it from DC to AC? So having that knowledge of how to set all of that up and monitor it to make sure it's functioning in its most optimal fashion. Okay, we really need to make sure that these things don't only just get set up, but they run efficiently and they provide a very, very good service to the community. Okay, it's absolutely paramount. So what else have we got here? Here we go, very good. And exactly, dynamo power. Okay, who remembers when we were kids, when we had our little push bikes and you had the dynamo on the back wheel? Okay, every sort of revolution and that wheel turned, it generated current through the power cord straight into the headlight usually, okay? And it's pretty straightforward when you think of hydropower, okay? So you've got a series of paddles, you've got a fast running stream, okay? The paddles are turning round. It's the same principle, exactly what Anne says, and she's absolutely right. You're going to be generating power from anything which moves in a circular motion, and also absolutely wind as well, okay? Wind propellant will go in a circular fashion. That will sort of invert through coils and will be turned into power. So yes, absolutely. On a side note, yes, definitely no politicians. Yeah, the world would be a better place without politicians. 100%. So yeah, we're seeing, what's this? Bob, what happened? Someone enlighten Bob. Right, what else have we got? Oh, Rachel, fair play, a really cool moderator who's just joined the team. Hit the thumbs up. That's really, really important. It so helps. Yeah, thank you, Rachel. That's fantastic. Nice one. So yes, we're going through. Right, this is interesting. This is from Scotsman. So I do woodwork with hand tools. Yeah, cool. Me too. Rip and crosscut saws, bit and brace, yeah, egg beaters, hand planes. It's not difficult as it's made out to be. Yeah, for sure. But sharpening is critical. Do you know what? That's another thing that's really good. Someone who is able to sharpen knives and tools. Now that would be me. I can sharpen anything. And I do believe as preppers we should all be able to sharpen our knives and tools with anything that we come across. It's all about skills and knowledge. Basically, all you need to do is find a material, excuse me, which is harder than the blade on your tool. That's all you need to do, okay? It's not as difficult as it made out to be. I try and learn the old ways. Now, absolutely, that should be absolutely taken on board. And I've always said this. You should always have stuff which doesn't require power. What I'm stating in this instance is any way that you can get power will absolutely be a huge advantage. Not saying that you should rely on it, but it will be an advantage. It will save time and energy. And if you are going to be using hand tools, you are going to be using a lot of energy, i.e., you are going to be consuming a lot of food to get that energy. So everything is valid. Where would we get the materials? Pretty much what I said earlier about the mechanic being key. If you get vehicles and are up and running, you are going to have scouting teams leave the community, basically scavenging for anything which is going to be of use. Now, I'm a survival instructor part-time, and I teach all of the students that when you go off out into the woodlands here in the UK, you are always going to find something of use, okay, which is non-natural, okay, plastics, metals, glass, concrete, all of this stuff is going to have a use. So yeah, you would find the materials. You just send teams out to go get them, okay? Pretty much it, really. Bonnie, yeah, we're going to be talking about that, about metalwork and knife making. Yes, that's on the list, absolutely. So we're looking at the time. What have we got? Wow, 32 minutes. We're going to bring it down because we got lots to cover. So next on the list, we are going to need a builder and or a welder, okay? Now, before I continue, I must point this out, right? Now, this is a really cool question, and I'd love to hear you guys' feedback on this. Now, is it going to be a good or a bad thing to have one person with lots of different skills? Is it going to be a good or a bad thing? Let me know what you think in the chat, okay? I'm going to give you a few minutes, and I'm going to wait to see the answers before we continue on down that road. So yes, a builder and or a welder. So you are going to be needing people with experience who know what they're doing about construction, okay? If you get a group of, say, 10 people and you start a community and none of you guys have got any construction experience, it's going to make life more difficult. Just when you think you've made a solid, sound, safe structure, a storm comes along and it just turns it into bits, okay? We really do need to have knowledge about building, okay? When you look at chippies and carpenters in the building game, look at the roof. Everything's about angles, okay? Structural supports, basic knowledge of building. You know, you are going to need all of that sort of stuff, okay? So just quickly, right, here we go. Now, this is what I believe in, okay? One person with all the skills is not good. And Nanny D, I concur, right? Now, as hard as this might seem to get your head around, my thinking is if you had 10 people in your community and one person had nearly 20 different skills, which are going to be amazing. Okay, what happens if something happens to that person? Okay, he or she dies from an illness, an infection, or something like that, and there wasn't enough time for that person to pass on all of those skills to the remainder of that community. Okay, bearing in mind it's good passing on skills, and I openly endorse that. I absolutely categorically encourage that concept of thinking 100%. But like I said, if something happens to that person and Nanny D's spot on there, it's going to be a big problem. Now, the way I think about this is you have a community with, I've got listed 24 different skills here. Okay, so if you're very fortunate enough to get 24 people with all of these skills, and you've got other people who are prepared to sort of help out and graft and all of that sort of stuff, stay up at night shift to keep watch, all of these things. Okay, now over time, every person is going to be taught skills from the other people. Okay, so over a period of time, you're going to see 24 different people are going to swap and exchange their skills. So every single person will be skilled at 24 different skills over time. That is my way of thinking. Okay, so like I said, if one person has lots of skills and something happens, them skills are gone. Then what have you got? You've got X amount of members of the community left. None of them any ideas about plumbing or mechanics or site security, canning food. That one person had them skills, gone. You're left in a very vulnerable situation. So Nanny D, well done, excellent. So we are going to bring it right down because, like I say, I'd love to read through your comments. Casa, good idea. That's just how I think. Okay, I try to sort of think outside the box with so many different variables at play and try to come up with the best solution. And I'm human at the end of the day. I'm not always right. I don't know it all. Okay, so this is one of the reasons why. Wow, look at that donation from Poppy Dogs. This is one of the reasons why I love doing these live streams, because the information comes in to a central point, and that is the whole fundamental reason why I enable chat replay. So when this live stream is done, it takes YouTube half an hour to an hour or whatever it is. It updates itself, and anyone watching thereafter on the replay can see every single person's messages in this live chat. And to me, that's great, because the more people watch this, the more people share ideas, the more people get educated, the more people meet like-minded people, and that only works, if you guys hit the thumbs up. Because if people don't do their bit by hitting the thumbs up, this message doesn't get out to as many people. And the way things are looking with society, it's only a matter of time before the SHTF situation is a genuine reality. So we really need people to share this as well. WhatsApp, Facebook. I do understand someone sent me a message earlier saying they tried sharing this with Facebook and it went against their guidelines and it wouldn't share it. So if anyone else is having any issues trying to share this video on Facebook, can you let me know? Whether an email, the email address is below this video, in the comment section under the video, or indeed in the live chat. Okay, we cover the three holy trinity of bases there with the feedback. And Poppy Dogs, wow, thank you for that generous donation. That's amazing. What have we got here? Groundworks and excavations, 35 years, and classic car restorer, 20 plus years. Now that is a very good thing to have. Okay, if you do construction work and you don't do groundwork, people who do groundwork and excavations and who really know their stuff, them two are going to go together like cheese and pickle. Am I right, Rach? Absolutely no, I'm right. 35 years experience, that's a long time. And a classic car restorer. So you're talking about older engines. Okay, older engines on vehicles are a lot easier and simpler to work with and maintain. Okay, if you think you're going to go and rob loads of EV vehicles, take them back to your prepper community and use those, well, guess what, my friend? All the very best of luck keeping those running, because at some point you're either going to have a fire or it's going to do your head in how to keep these ridiculous vehicles up and running. So yeah, classic car restorer, spot on. And thanks again, Poppy Dogs, for the donation. That's fantastic. So yeah, we're bringing it right down. and we're looking at, I've put food farmer. Okay, so anyone who has experience and knowledge about generating food. Okay, so we are looking at people who basically have had an allotment or they've grown their own food in their own garden. If people have got years and years and years of experience, those people will be absolutely welcome to any SHTF community. Seriously, okay? If you've got like 2 or 3 years experience about growing your own fruit and veg, it's probably not going to be enough. We need people who are literally going to come in with 10, 20 years experience, hit the ground running, and straight away the food will be produced without massive yields and crop failure. Okay, we really need skills in that regard. And I say farmer as well, so you're looking at livestock as well. So people who have knowledge about how to rear animals, okay, what to do and what not to do about breeding or crossbreeding, what to do about taking certain amounts when there's a certain amount left. All of these skills and knowledge are going to be really, really, really well to do. Okay, it's going to be so important, because I know lots of us love eating meat, and there's a reason for that, because there's lots of different vitamins and minerals that are found within meat, and obviously protein. Now protein, the brain needs protein to develop. Excuse me, I need to have some of this. So yes, anyone with skills and knowledge about livestock, absolutely. Now a good friend of mine who, I'm not sure what's happened to his YouTube channel, but his name on YouTube is called P-Anon. P-A-N-O-N. That's it. He really has looked into, and he's doing it for real, about breeding guinea pigs. Okay, in his personal opinion, breeding guinea pigs for meat is so much better than any other small game. In his opinion, at the rate that they breed, the weight of meat that you get back, they're pretty much identical to pigs, so you can use every single part of that animal. Okay, fundamentally important, because that's going to go a long way. Okay, so yes, someone who knows the score about food, because let's face it, there's only going to be a matter of time before all of those stocked up foods, you know, the long-term freeze-dried foods, the tin foods, all of that rice, all of that pasta, all of those beans, all of those soup mixes, all of that stuff like tinned meat, spam, and all the rest of it, at some point it's going to run out. Okay, nothing lasts forever. And again, it comes back to the important thing, a mechanic, to get that vehicle or those vehicles operational and healthy too, so they can go out and probably scavenge for more food. Okay, if there's a bad harvest or a bad season, some crops fail, having vehicles to go out there and scavenge to find other foods is going to be seriously welcome. Okay, so we are going to move on to wild edibles. Okay, now this, I believe every single prepper around the world should have some knowledge about. Okay, even if it's 10 items, okay, 10 items that you can 100% identify without any mistakes whatsoever, and you know where to get them, you know what seasons they're growing, you know what areas they're growing. Okay, that is going to be so important. And it's always going to be one of those things, you know, no one knows it all, but if you've got a good base concept ideology looking into the gaining of wild food edibles, that is going to be absolutely welcome in any community. Okay, so you are looking at herbs, okay, wild herbs, all sorts of plant life which you can eat, which grows readily in the wilds. And it's absolutely astonishing for the average Joe to walk down a mile down a country lane with hedgerows either side and literally walk past mountains of food without even realizing it. Yes, there is so much food all over the UK, it's incredible. But here is a word of caution. You're looking at the time January, February, okay? Those 2 months are going to be very lean when it comes to wild edibles. The amount that you can get for free anywhere in the UK throughout the year is astonishing. But January and February are very lean months. So we are going to come onto that in a minute when we talk about homesteading, okay? So yes, wild edibles. The same thing with mushrooms, okay? Now listen to this. You've heard of the great man, John Lofty Wiseman, okay? The man who wrote the SAS Survival Handbook, okay? He has said thousands of times, don't bother about mushrooms, okay? It only takes one mistake. So even if you're an expert wild mushroom forager or a fungi operator, all right, if you are an expert, okay, what happens as you get older? Your eyesight deteriorates, okay, and because you're confident, maybe perhaps overconfident, it's just possible that you can pick a mushroom believing you know what it is, only to find out to your detriment that it's not. And at worst case, you can die by eating one mushroom, okay? Very, very serious. So you really do have to know those skills, and absolutely that's going to be fundamental moving forward in passing those skills all around your community before you get to an age where your eyesight starts deteriorating, and it could lead you and the community in trouble. So if you're a wild mushroom foraging expert, and you're under the age of 50 or something like that, share them skills, because once you hit 50, the eyesight typically starts to deteriorate, okay? So if you haven't got glasses and you can't see crystal clear, and you need to be 100% sure that that mushroom is absolutely the right thing, okay? Like I say, you get it wrong, you only make that mistake once, and you could never wake up again. And indeed, lots of members of your community. How bad would that be? There's 20 guys, girls in the community. We got an expert forager. He goes out and he gets like half of a bin liner full out of mushrooms. Everyone has a really good epic dinner with all of the squirrels that they've hunted, etc. Only to find over the next 3 days, everyone starts dying off because of one mistake. Really important. We have another new member in the house. Terry, thank you very much for joining the Funky Fam. It's always good to have new members. And yes, we have got members joining the community outside of the live streams, okay? They are coming in all the time, and it's really good. We are growing a seriously good community. And do you know what I might do? If I can find time, I might do a live stream just for the members, okay? Because I think you guys are awesome, supporting me and this channel. And yeah, all of those little pennies, they absolutely help. So thank you very much, Terry, for joining the Funky Fam. We are going to move on to Herbalist. So it's pretty much almost intrinsically linked to what I just mentioned about wild edibles, okay? Having someone with a good base concept idea of how medicines work within the plant kingdom. The animal kingdom? We're talking China now with rhino horns. No, we're not going down that silly road. That's just insanity. We are talking about foods that you can find growing all over the UK which have true medicinal benefits, okay? Most of us are probably aware in this community that all pharmaceutical products, medicines, I don't even like the word medicines which they use because they are not, okay? All of those have literally stemmed from a minimal of one herb or wild plant, okay? And what happens is they get the structure and the essential materials from within that singular and based natural product, and they synthesize it, and they add all sorts of other things in there to make sure that that person doesn't get really, really well and really, really better. Because guess what? If that happens, they wouldn't keep going back to buy their pharmaceutical products. So this is all by design. It's pretty much planned obsolescence when you break it down from an intellectual point of view. Okay, so someone who knows their stuff with herbal medicine is literally going to be the medicine cabinet of the community. Okay, because when you talk about medicines, okay, it's the same as food. The food that you've got prepped, the food that you've got stored, and you've got medicines and all of that stuff, and pills and potions and lotions and all of that stuff, eventually they are going to run out, okay? So how I look into things about communities is all of these items are going to be absolutely of paramount importance in the short to medium term of a post-SHTF scenario, okay? Whilst you've still got access to these medicines, You really need someone to train everyone up in the community about where to get these natural alternatives to the physical pharmaceutical versions which you have stored in your preps. Okay, so herbalist, really, really important, because people are going to get sick. It's just the law of averages. Okay, so we are going to move on to hunting. People who hunt, people who fish, they are going to be so welcome. Okay, because let me tell you this, and I can speak freely and truly about this. I don't profess to know it all, and no one is going to. If someone says they know everything there is to know about prepping, try not to spend much time with those people. Okay, at the end of the day, we're all human beings. We all have our own unique skill set. We all have our own unique way of thinking and processing information. We have all sorts of individual skills, etc. But no one is going to know all of them. Okay, so if you've got someone in your community who hunts pretty much for a living, so we're talking again, someone with loads of experience, okay, shed loads of experience, okay, so we can get this person to pass on those skills throughout the community over time, and they go out and practice, they go out and train, and eventually they're going to be at a point where they're going to be confident about hunting by themselves. Okay, so all of a sudden you've got 30 people in the community, 3 people can hunt really, really well over the course of about a year. A year is a good term because you're looking at 4 seasons. Okay, you should be able to hunt in all 4 seasons. It's exactly the same as when I teach survival courses. You should be able to light a fire in any of the 4 seasons. Okay, it's paramount because we are thinking long term. We are thinking of communities for long term. All right, so you are going to need to own these skills, but you're only going to own these skills should you be proficient in all 4 seasons. Okay, to me it just makes common sense. Right, it's no good just enjoying hunting, in the last couple of weeks or months in the year, so winter time. So throughout, the next 12 months or so, you haven't got any experience about how to hunt in summertime or springtime. So all of that stuff's relevant. All right, so, and also people who fish. Now, personally, I prefer to eat sea fish and seafood. I don't really eat anything out of streams, lakes, or rivers. Okay, I just don't like the taste of it all. But we are talking survival terms now, so absolutely, yes, of course, I'm not stupid. Of course, I'm going to eat those fish and crustaceans and things. Okay, so we need people who know how to fish. Okay, people who know how to make nets, people who know where to put those nets, what baits to use. Okay, talking about tidal estuaries, of when is the good time, when is a good time of year. Okay, all of these skills are really going to be important in communities. Okay, and I know y'all out there just love fishing, and it's good because I used to fish a long time ago, sea fishing. Okay, I've got no experience about fly fishing, no experience about fishing in rivers or lakes, but I know how to fish on the shoreline. Okay, and I also know how to find crustaceans around the coast and the shoreline. Really important stuff to learn. Okay, so we're going on to something which is a little bit controversial, but it needs to be said. We are probably going to need, we are going to need people in the community who are combat veterans. Okay, I myself am a military veteran, but I am not a combat veteran. I have not been into combat. Okay, there are people out there who have been. Now, I know lots of combat veterans, and I spend many hours talking with them, and I've learned a fair bit from them based on their experiences during combat, what they learn, what to do, what not to do. All of these sorts of things are really good blocks of information to learn and to digest and to use should the time arrive, that these people are going to be a game changer. They are literally going to give you the edge in your community. So what does a combat veteran offer to the community? Well, a myriad of things, if you will. You're talking someone who has, we're not going to beat around the bush. We're talking about someone who has experience in killing other people. Okay, I know it's grim, I know it's blunt, but it's the truth. When you boil away the pea, that is what military personnel are trained to do. They are trained to kill the enemy. Okay. At some point, your compound, your camp, or your building, or whatever it is that your community is situated in, is going to need to be defended. Okay. You are going to need people who know how to act and react and stay calm in that situation. And combat veterans have absolutely got that in spades. Okay. Now, I understand that lots are going to have PTSD. That's pretty much a given, okay? And that's pretty much goes with the territory. But we are going to be speaking a little bit about that in a sec, okay? So try not to sort of fire the comment button away, etc. I understand, all right? But no, it's absolutely going to be essential because we need people pretty much when you do martial arts, okay? Let me have a drink. It's pretty much when you've got someone who's experienced in the arts, in martial arts. Excuse me. So it's literally the base ideology is staying calm during times that are rough. Okay, someone who can keep focus. Bruce Lee coined it fighting without fighting. Okay, and breaking. We got another new member. Welcome, Dawn. Very, very much appreciated for joining the Funky Fam. And Dawn is our new member this evening. Welcome, Dawn. That's really, really cool. Thank you. So, yes, combat vets, they are going to give your community the edge. Okay. We move down to number 8. Doctors, surgeons, medics. I've grouped all of those together because it's a multifaceted term regarding medical help. Okay. So you've got the base thing, which will be a first aider going right up to a fully trained surgeon and everything in between. Having someone who has got the knowledge and most importantly, the experience, okay, to know the human anatomy. They know about nerves, they know about tendons, they know about muscular structure, they know about everything pretty much that we need to know of how to patch up a member in our community to keep them alive and keep them working, because we all need to work together in any community. And I feel that's pretty much what we do in this community. We work really well together, helping each other, sharing ideas and information. It's really, really important, okay? So having a doctor, can you imagine it if we didn't have a doctor or someone knew anything at all about first aid, okay? At some point, it's going to be a serious injury. And if your knowledge only expands to basic first aid, that person is going to be in serious problems, probably very soon as well. Okay, so doctors, surgeons, and medics, absolutely, they are literally going to be a lifesaver without the pun. You know, it really is going to be welcome. We move on to dentist. Now, how many people have had extreme dental pain and it's literally taken them out of the game? No matter what it is, we're still fortunate, believe it or not, here in the UK that we can get a dentist. All right, excuse me. So I know from first-hand experience, right? I can say this. I know trying to get a dentist in this day and age in the UK, especially an NHS dentist, is a freaking nightmare. All right, it is an absolute nightmare. And some of you guys in the chat, I know, are already saying what a nightmare experience they've had with an NHS dentist. Where we're trying to get hold of one, trying to get through, the time it takes to physically go and see them. You know, did it go to plan? Did they get the whole tooth out? Was some broken in there? Have they got to go and see a specialist at a later date? Yada, yada, yada. So many issues. So to have a dentist is incredible. Now, I remember earlier on in the chat that there was a dentist in this live stream, which is awesome, okay? Maybe, actually, now I think about it, I don't think he was in the live stream. He was in the previous video to this one, okay? So I've done a little 7-minute video an hour before this live stream, giving people a base idea about this live stream in the hope that people will watch that and come back now and join into the chat. So let me know if you are new to the channel, you watched that video and you come back for the live stream. If you did, can you whack that in the chat or the comment section? That'd be really cool, because it's something that I'm trying out to see if we can get more people in this community and share more ideas. And the bottom line is, I'm here to help people. Like I know lots of you are as well. So the more people we've got helping, the better. So yes, that's really cool. It looks like we've got one here, Texas. Yeshua follower. Brilliant. That's excellent. So and Andy as well. I came back. Really appreciate it, Andy. Seriously. I mean, you have just found yourself in a really cool community, and I would urge you to subscribe if you like what you're seeing and hearing, and also the notification bell. And whilst I've got Andy here on the screen, I've had quite a few messages saying that their notification bells are turned off. So if you remember, you can do it now if you want. It's entirely up to you. Can you check that that notification bell is still switched to all notifications? If it isn't, YouTube's turned loads of them off. It's all part of my shadow ban experience, as well others. But I don't want to elaborate too much on that because we've got cool information coming up now. So yes, absolutely, a dentist will be of value, big time. Okay. Also, when you think of a toothache or an extraction, okay, whether it's taken out of a pair of pliers, a bit of string, and in a piece of paracord, whatever you choose to use to extract a tooth because it's become infected, it's got an abscess, it's really painful, lots of people will turn to alcohol for a good reason. Now, who remembers that film Castaway with Tom Hanks? Who remembers that? Yes, absolutely, that could happen in real life. I mean, why wouldn't it? You got 10 to 100 people or whatever it is in your community. At some point, someone's going to get a toothache. Okay. Yes. And if you've got a dentist, well, how lucky is your community? That's all I can say. So moving on to that, alcohol. Who knows how to create alcohol? Okay. Any of you watching right now, look at this. Wilson! Yes, his best friend with a football. Excellent, nice one. But yeah, does any of you guys know how to make beer, ale, wine, moonshine, vodka, with potatoes and all of that stuff? Does any of you know how to actually make alcohol? The stronger, the better, okay? So looking in the chat, we have got these people right now. Excellent. And Brendan too. That's really good. That's really good. It didn't take long for people to stick that up there. And also, we got Hilltop as well. Fantastic. That's really good. London girl. Well, you know how to make hooch, or we just love drinking it? Right. Here we go. And fermentation. Now, that is a key word. That is going to be talked a little bit about homesteading. We're moving on to that. But yes, fundamentally, fermentation is going to be needed for sure. Isabel. Oh, hello. I look forward to seeing you again because I need to learn these skills. Brilliant. That's really cool. And Moiko Wolf too. So yes, it looks like we've got a few people who know how to make things. Rachel, the lovely Rachel from, I think it's the Cotswolds. My dad used to make wine out of acorns. Bloody hell, that's a skill. How cool's your dad? Fantastic. So no, seriously, it's going to be important because if you can make alcohol really, really strong, okay, you can literally water it down to make it by volume more acceptable, okay? So the general spirit here in the UK is between 37.5% and 40% by volume alcohol, okay? If you can make 90% alcohol and you can water it down so it sits around those widely used amounts, okay, by volume, then just think about it. You can bottle that, you can exchange it, you can barter it, you can swap it, you can sell it, you can do so many things. But also, the stronger the alcohol, the more it's going to help in killing germs, okay? Because, there is going to be stashes, hopefully, of people that have antibiotics, okay? But what happens when they run out, okay? If you get like a big cut on your arm, and it gets infected, anything like alcohol will absolutely help. So if you can make alcohol, if you can create it, then absolutely. Wow, is it me or do I look quite orange in here? Let me see if I can move that. I didn't realise it was so bad. Right, let me put that there. There you go. Is that a bit better? Sorry about that. It's like a weird filter, I've just realized. So yes, alcohol, very important that people know how to make alcohol. And indeed, it's what we keep on saying. Anyone who's got that skill passes on to everyone else. And over time, something happens to the person who knew the most skills about alcohol production, passes away. They're going to leave behind a legacy of everyone should be able to make alcohol. And indeed, it sort of procreates, if you understand my meaning about that. Speaking about teaching, teachers, absolutely. Why wouldn't you want a teacher or someone who has got experience in teaching? Okay, it doesn't matter what you teach. You need to have that mentality that when you are teaching, that whatever you're teaching, you're a likable person. Okay, who remembers way back when we used to go to school and some of the teachers were complete a-holes. You know, it was just no one liked them. They made it boring, etc. So because of that, you didn't really learn as much as you probably could have, given the teacher was a twat. If we're going to break it down, okay? And I know some of you will remember some teachers were really good. They were funny, they were clever. They spent that little bit of extra time doing one-to-ones with people to make sure that you really understood it and encouraged. Those are the teachers that we are going to need in communities, because let's face it, there are going to be children, okay? People are going to get together and babies will be born. So to have teachers who know how to deal with especially young children, and obviously there's going to be an amount of parents in the community too. So having that parental sense with a couple who's just had a kid for the first time, if they've got parents around them, of course, they're going to really help with advice, okay? I mean, teething and things like that, and bring up wind and burping and stuff. All of those things are really important. So you take that forward a little bit more about teaching, okay? How are you going to teach the younger generation? Because it's going to be the old die off, the young people come through the ranks, and they're all going to need to be learning stuff as well. So you've got an endless cycle of that community thriving for decades. That's the hope, okay? So teachers, yes. A survival instructor. Now, I've taught survival myself, and I'm like everyone else, I don't know it all, but I know more than enough to get people who haven't got a clue about survival, more than enough for them to actually make it out there, okay? And also navigation. Now, how many of you can put your hand on your heart and say that you are 100% confident with a map and or compass and navigating by the stars, navigating by nature, from trees, etc.? How many people really know that stuff? And I get it. There's going to be people out there that just don't know, okay? Some of you may have done map reading when you was in the Cub Scouts, when you was 7 or 8 years old back in the day, but haven't done it so long, you forget. And that's absolutely understandable, because over time, these skills, if they're not practiced or brought to the fore on a regular basis, they're just going to get forgotten. And there's nothing wrong with that. It's just a thing. Now, this is quite encouraging. Look at that. We've got people out here, and Owen as well, another member who know, and C-Mac as well. That's really good. Because I, like myself, I pass on nav skills to my students when I do survival courses, and it's really, really good to see. You know, you got people that come to the courses and they just never done it before, okay? And when they leave, you know, the 3 or the 4 day survival course, they can map read and they can navigate with the stars. They can navigate using plant flora and fauna with trees and stuff, okay? It's really, really helpful, and it's really cool passing on skills. So a survival instructor, you're pretty much going to have a multifaceted base of knowledge, which is going to be really, really valued within a community, okay? Because like I said, you've got certain skills and stuff owned by certain people. A survival instructor is going to have a multitude of skills, okay? So the idea that the survival instructor is going to be important in the community is because all of them skills that instructor's owned and is really good at and keen and very good at passing on those skills should absolutely do so, okay? It's going to fundamentally help, especially the younger generation, because they, more than any, are going to need real survival skills, okay? They're going to need to know, should they find themselves on their own when they're 10, 12 years old, they're going to have enough skills which is going to save their life. Pretty much it. So survival instructors, absolutely. A comms engineer, okay? So people who know their stuff about comms, pretty much. So let me just check. So yes, so we're talking communicating, okay? So it's highly likely that you're going to have communities separated, okay, over a certain distance. And if you are a neighbor or a friendly community, why wouldn't you want to stay in contact with them, okay? If one community looks like it's going to be overrun, they can contact the backup community, and some of those members, like we said, combat veterans, all of the others, survival instructors and stuff like this, can literally rush to help, and vice versa. If the other community gets overrun or attacked, they can literally communicate remotely with the other community to come, almost like a reinforcement idea. It's pretty much a military strategy, okay? You're going to have REMFs. Now, some of you military guys will know what I mean when I say REMF, okay? So yes, they are going to be called upon when needed, okay? So a comms engineer. So yes, you are looking at people who know how to operate citizen band radio, okay? Now, I'm fully aware before you say that, yes, they are not private conversations, okay? The beauty of it is that they are quite short distance communications. So yes, if you've got boots, which is an amplifier on your device, you can do something that would be 5 miles away. You can make it go 15 miles or something like that, okay? So if your communities are, say, 10 miles apart and you can communicate via CB, it's very easy, very quick, and very low power as well. It requires very little voltage to transmit signals via citizen band radio and or sideband as well. Obviously, you need to make sure that if you can, you've got some sort of amateur radio or ham radio, okay? Who remembers that film, The Shining, done by Stanley Kubrick in the 70s, when they're at the Overlook Hotel and they've got that big CB base station? Having something like that where they can literally just tune in the frequency where they want to go to, hit the button and transmit, and the other community will pick it up pretty much instantly, okay? A good thing about having ham radio is you can listen to other ham operators globally. So you've got a really good picture about what is literally going on, because there's probably not going to be very, or if any, news broadcasts over FM radio or shortwave radio or even longwave radio, okay? It could be very limited. Or unless you know how to do that, you can broadcast on those frequency in the hope that you can reach people probably globally or nationwide, moreover, okay? So we go down to what we talked about earlier when we talked about combat veterans of PTSD. Now we are looking at a counsellor, okay? Now some people might laugh at this and why the hell would you want a counsellor? Well, let me tell you this. Looking ahead, we're talking post-collapse, the SHTFs happen. People are going to be doing things which they have never done before, and they are probably going to be struggling with what they've done, okay? Having a really good listener, a trained counsellor, you know, lots of them have got really, really good memories, and it's just fascinating to actually know people who are counsellors, okay? It's incredible. It's so helpful. So if you do have situations where people are struggling with anything, okay, it might not be because they've had to kill someone and they've got to deal with it. They might be struggling with all sorts of things about the way things are, comparing it to the way things used to be, you know, back in these days when everything is good. It's going to be very hard to transition for a lot of people. So not everyone has got the gift where you can literally just turn things off and carry on operating. Luckily for me, I can do that. But I do know, I don't know how I'm going to react, how I'm going to be should I reach the point in time when I have to take someone's life, because I've never done it before. I don't really know how I'm going to be after that, okay? And let's face it, most of us haven't done that. And we don't know, we can't know how we're going to react should we do something like that, okay? So a counsellor is one of the most underrated skills that people don't often consider regarding a post-SHTF community. It's really going to be welcome in a big way. Okay. What about a woodsman? So someone who's spent a lot of time in the woods, okay, doing all sorts of things. So you're pretty much thinking of someone who is capable of self-sustaining themselves and their family or in their community, excuse me, in a woodland. Okay, so all sorts of skills come into the fore. You're thinking of making charcoal. Okay, really important skill to know, and not everyone knows how to do it. But if you're a woodsman, the chances are you're going to at least know one skill, which would be to make charcoal. Okay, and all sorts of other skills, forest management as well. Now, how many people do you think that when they go and start a community and they're in a woodland, somewhere big like Sherwood Forest or something like that, if they've got no knowledge or skills of how to naturally upkeep and maintain a woodland naturally, it's only going to be a matter of time before that habitat starts to fail. Okay, you cut down too many trees, you plant the wrong things in the wrong places, invasive species. Okay, all of these things are maybe some of the skills that a traditional true woodsman will absolutely understand. So if you've got someone like that in your community, that's going to help. And again, like we said, it's going to spread to the other members and they can learn how to manage a forest as well. Okay, moving down to this one's quite important, and I've never ever heard anyone mention this in a community SHTF discussion. Okay, believe it or not, people who have had experience living on the streets or being homeless, those people are going to be absolutely vital to the survival of your community. Now, lots of people are going to be scratching their heads thinking, why? Well, let me tell you this. You're going to be having someone in your community who has lived rough on the streets for 5 years, 10 years. The amount of experience that that person is going to have, you know, how to read body language, okay? Do you know that if you're welcoming a new member to your community and you've got no experience about living on the streets, how to read body language, how to read energies, okay? How do you know if that person's quite amiable, like I am now, everything's fine, and they seem to be really good, and they've got some skills which are going to be welcome in your community, and you let your guard down because you're getting more relaxed, all of a sudden, a knife goes in you, okay? Someone who's lived on the streets, who's got that experience, would know before that knife gets pulled. They just will know, because the chances are they have been in a situation where that's happened and they're lucky to survive that event. They know. And after that, trust me, their situational awareness will be absolutely at probably the most pinnacle of you could ever imagine. Having people like that to try and teach and learn some of the skills about how to survive, how to evade, and how to sort of get through each day without being killed on the streets is going to be well important, because at some point in time, someone or some persons in your community will have to go into a city or a town. Okay, now if you've got no experience on how to operate under the radar in that environment, no, because let me tell you this, you're probably going to come up against someone in a city who has been on the streets for years, and someone who hasn't are going to come to meet them people, and the chances of them making it past that introduction, very slim. Okay, we are talking real nitty-gritty survival now. So people who have been homeless, they have walked that terrible walk before, they have skills which you or I just can't learn. Okay, even if we did have someone in our community, they can teach us something, and let's face it, that something will probably be enough to get you through evading in an urban environment. Okay, but the person who has them skills, they are probably going to be picked to pass on as much as they can to everyone in that community. And when that situation comes where someone has to volunteer to go into the city to get whatever, some important medicines or something like that, they are going to be the chosen one to do it, because they are going to be the most qualified. Okay, and let me just welcome a new member. Maureen, thank you very much for joining the Funky Fam, and it's really good to see. Really appreciate that, and you are so welcome Here you will find lots of like-minded friends, and I hope that you learn something and make lots of friends, because we are so blessed to have a cool community here. And I always smile when I see new members, so that's fantastic. Thank you very much, Maureen. Welcome aboard. So wow, we bring the chat right down. Next we have a homesteader. We touched on this before. Someone quite rightly pointed out about fermentation whilst we were talking about the subject of alcohol and its production. All right, so someone who's got loads of experience and knowledge about homesteading. So what is a homesteader? It's an American term. Over here in the UK, it's probably named something different. An off-gridder, probably. I don't really know if there's a UK term. But a homesteader, yeah, you're looking at someone who strives to be self-sufficient in every way possible. Okay, so basically, you're setting up a community which is going to be a homestead fundamentally. So to have someone in that community who has got experience already, they are really going to help. I mean, they are going to help more than you can imagine. Remember earlier on when I said about when you go out to collect wild edibles and herbs and medicines, okay, some of them are seasonal, okay, when in fact most of them are. Now, like I said, you're looking at January and February being very lean months, and they are going to be the hardest months to survive if you haven't got anything prepared. So where the homesteader comes in, that is going to be the guy or the girl who's got experience in preserving food, smoking, dehydrating, storing in jars, canning, fermenting in vinegars, etc. You know, if you've got someone who knows their stuff about that and can pass those skills on, so not only have you got one homesteader in a community of 20 or 30, okay, over time, it should be that all 20 are going to have some degree of knowledge regards actual homesteading. And that requires a lot of planning and a lot of time and a lot of love and dedication to actually become a true homesteader. They are going to be worth their weight in gold, no matter who they look like, okay? No matter anything. They are going to be important, okay? Now we go on to a security expert. So someone who has got years of knowledge in the security industry. I only dabbled in it for a short time. And there's people out there who know so much about security. So when I touched on earlier on about the combat veteran, yes, they are going to have some degree of knowledge about defending a perimeter, etc. You've got that person and you've got a security expert who is extremely knowledgeable just on security. That's just going to be invaluable, okay? Because every single facility, compound, building, area, camp is going to need security. Fundamental, okay? Because there's no point in having all of these amazing people working together to form a really good long-term community if it just gets invaded or attacked, okay? It needs to be secure. Now, a security advisor, a security instructor, a security personnel member with years experience will absolutely give loads of advice. Like I said earlier, when you've got like off-grid tech guy, when I talked about that, someone who is capable of doing stuff with solar panels, wind, and all of that sort of stuff. If you add into the fact CCTV and things like this, or some sort of remote alarm system on the outer perimeters of your site, your camp, whatever you want to call it, it's going to be really good, because what that's going to do is that's going to give everyone in the camp a heads up that someone is coming, and you should be able to determine based on the alert response of what direction the threat is coming from. Okay, you can have a perimeter trip, you can have sensors, you can have cameras, you can have thermal imaging, infrared. The possibilities are endless within that very special community. Okay, so a security expert will be really clever to pass on what he or she knows to make sure everyone's got a basic idea of how to secure that area. Really important. Then another thing that is not really talked about in these discussions, which I feel is pretty invaluable, and that is a locksmith. Okay, my dear friend Armour Cockroach has now joined the realm of locksmithing, and he is very good. Okay, he has learned lots of information. He has helped so many people gain access to properties, vehicles, etc. And there's lots of locksmiths out there. Let me know if you're one, because it is one of those things which is often overlooked, because at some point you are going to need something which is behind the lock and key. And if you don't know how to bypass or defeat that lock system, you're going to be missing out on key items which could be really important at that moment in time to you or your community. Okay, so having someone who can defeat all sorts of like padlocks, door locks, safes, anything like that is going to be really, really valuable in a community. And we're not just talking old school locks. Okay, lots of it these days have biometrics, they have infrared, they have all sorts of technology within that lock system. Okay, so we are talking someone who has a good grasp on that as well, and also the old-fashioned shed door. Okay, all of that information is going to be so greatly received. And if you've not had a go at picking locks, it's a really good hobby to do. You can buy these training padlocks on eBay, and all it is a basic padlock with half of it cut away, and you can put a lockpick in there, and you can play and learn, and you can watch the mechanisms change as you change and alter your technique, and indeed develop your technique of how to defeat that lock. It's really cool, and it's not expensive. A lock you can pick up for under £10. A set of picks you can probably pick up for there or the same or over. Okay, so yes, locksmiths, really, really important. Okay, we're moving on now to a weapons expert. Okay, so someone who is proficient in the wonderful world of weaponry. Okay, now we're not just talking firearms, we're talking a myriad of weapons. Okay, so you're looking at possibly things like explosives, how to maintain and repair crossbows, how to make longbows, how to reload ammunition. Okay, all of these things are going to be welcome, because, like I said, as the scenario unfolds, it's highly likely that you're going to be in a situation where you come across a weapon of some sort, whether it be a pistol, a rifle, semi or fully automatic firearm. Okay, if you don't know how to strip that weapon, if you don't know how to load that weapon, if you don't know how to make that weapon safe, okay, all of a sudden it's just a useless heavy lump of metal because you don't know what to do with it. Okay, so having an expert or someone who has been a gunsmith, someone who has spent time probably in special forces, because they are going to be more likely to be trained in a big array of different weaponry. Okay, so that is going to be useful as well, especially like we talked about earlier, when you have to leave the camp or your area and go to an urban environment where you can bet the bottom dollar that there's going to be firearms in and around the area. Okay, so you come across one of these weapons and you don't know what to do, all you can do is take it and run and hope that you make it back to camp alive, and your weapons expert is going to go through with you how to field strip it, how to clean it, how to maintain it, the ammunition, etc., all of the drills with safety. It's all going to be very, very relevant. Okay, now someone asked earlier, now forgive me for not remembering your name, but someone mentioned a knife maker and or a blacksmith. Okay, very important indeed. I'm going to say important to all of these, because they absolutely are, because we need to think way ahead of time now. Okay, the big day comes, it's all gone bad, you all meet up in your community and you've got all of these key skilled people within there. You're going to have someone in charge, whether they're elected or whatever, someone with common sense, someone who is approachable. Okay, you don't want some badass leader who doesn't give a toss, because you're going to need to be a people person at that point. Okay, you're going to need someone who is firm but fair. Okay, you don't want to push over, and you don't want someone who's an iron fist kind of guy. You want somewhere in between. Okay, but a blacksmith, yes, of course, you're going to need ironmongery. You're going to need to have these things. Okay, it might come a point where you need to make knives, or you need to make tools. A tool breaks. Like I say, you can't just nip down to B&Q whenever you want to, or Lowe's if you're in America, if you've got someone in your community who can make tools, whatever sort of tool it is, most tools are made out of metal. So having a blacksmith absolutely is a great thing. Now, my good friend Scott Wessex Blades, who is always at the top of my recommended channel list, and he always will be. I've said that, and I'm still true to my word 11 years later. He would be the guy that you need. He would be the guy who can get any bit of metal and turn it into a very useful, strong tool. And it's not going to break, okay? Because people like Scott, and there are indeed many others in the UK, they've had so much practice, they've got so much knowledge, and they've literally perfected their art. They want to make a tool which is strong and stays sharp for as long as possible, and a very, very slight risk of breaking, if at all. Okay, that is what their ultimate goal probably is. Okay, so a blacksmith and a knife stroke tool maker, yes, much needed. Someone said earlier, and this was in is either the comment section or the chat, or sorry, the comment section on the other video, the short one I've done before this one, and he mentioned a plumber, and I thought, you know what, it's not a bad idea, because when you think about it, you are going to have some system in place where water is going to be needed. Think about latrines, okay? Think about having water pumped around the site for all sorts of things. We take water, comes out of a tap, for granted. You go in the middle of nowhere and you start community and you've got no plumber and no one's got a clue about elevations of water pressures and rises. What are you going to do? It's going to be quite difficult, because a plumber is pretty much the same sort of grade as an electrician. When I talk to number 2, the off-grid tech guy, so you're basically looking at an electrician, moreover, for off-grid stuff. So you're mainly looking at 12-volt off-grid stuff, okay, not plugged into the mains. So yes, a plumber, an electrician, absolutely. Someone who knows how to deliver water. Speaking of water, going back to the survival instructor, they're the guys like myself and so many others who teach you how to clean, filter and purify water. Okay, absolutely essential, because without water you're dead, pretty much. You're not going to do very well without water. So survival instructors, we will show you where to find water, how to find water, and how to filter it, and how to purify it, and how to make it safe for you to drink. Now, we can do these in so many ways, like I've done on the courses, with no tools, with no kit, with no water filter. Absolutely confident that I can make most water here in the UK, as long as it's not salt water, absolutely drinkable. In fact, you can make seawater drinkable. It pretty much is a solar still or distillation, which will basically turn into steam. You can drink it. But I digress. Plumbing, very essential. And someone else mentioned these two things. So one of them is a seamstress. So it is probably more commonplace for the female to fall into this role. But how many of you knew this? It was men who started to knit before women in history. That's fact. And I know that's going to shock a lot of you people, but it's true. It was men who started to knit. And I think it comes from the fishing community when they made their own fishing nets. And they passed those skills on to their wives and partners whilst they went out and done all of the fishing. They sort of picked up that skill and they continued to repair the nets after the men started doing it. Okay, so having, it's weird saying seamstress. It does sound a bit sexist, but that's the only term that I'm affiliate with. So a seamstress, tailor, someone who can spin, so can create yarn. So you're looking at someone who can find fleece from animals, turn it into thread, which is yarn. And then from that moment on, you can teach how to knit. And then once you've knitted the garment, people need to know how to sew as well. So most of us who have been in the military, we have at least sewn something once. And I hand sew. I've never used a sewing machine. I prefer to do things by hand, because one day, if you're so used to using a machine and you've never done hand sewing, you're going to have to hand sew, and you're going to be at a disadvantage because you've never done it before. And you're going to have to start from scratch, where really, at that point in time, you're probably going to need to hit the ground running. So I'm always thinking ahead, and I taught myself how to hand sew, okay? Really important for if you climbing over a barbed wire fence and you do like a great big 7-inch rip in your trousers, and that's the only pair of trousers you got. It starts to rain and the wind kicks up. all of a sudden you could get exposure in your legs, which is going to slow you down. It's going to lead to so many problems. But having the skill to sit down, get out of the elements, and hand sew that repair by yourself is awesome. So yes, absolutely, those people with those skills do need to come to the community and pass them skills on. And someone said a cobbler. Now that's quite an unusual one, because when you think about it, everyone is going to be on their feet for the majority of time. So having someone who knows how to make a pair of shoes or boots, okay? So you're probably predominantly looking at using materials like car tires, animal skins with leather, okay? All of these skills, if someone knows how to make footwear or repair footwear, that's something which isn't talked about at all, because, you know, it's great bugging out with like 10 brand new pairs of boots. That's fine. But guess what I found out? I did have 10 different pairs of military combat boots. 3 of them are binned. Do you know why? Because the composite rubber in between the sole and the uppers degraded, so much so that they completely fell apart. Okay, so having someone who knows how to repair footwear, or indeed make them from scratch, absolutely important. So they are the items which I think is going to be useful in communities. Now, we're going to go into trust. Okay, so fundamentally, the personnel entering your community need to be trustworthy. Okay, now that can only come with time. This is one of the reasons why I'm putting this video out now, because it's going to give people a lot of time to find people who they want in their community based on trust. You can only gain trust through time. Okay, so that's important. There's no point inviting someone in your community. You don't know who they are. You can't trust them because you don't know them. And let's face it, we're looking at desperate times, and people are going to become very good at acting very convincingly. Okay, like I said, the guy who's got experience living on the streets will know this. He will smell a rat like that. Okay, they just do, because they've had to become used to living in that lifestyle. Okay, so them skills are really important. So yes, you need to trust people. All right, experience. It's all well and good someone coming to your community or approaching you to join your community and say, I've had like 20 years experience growing veg and all that, and you go, oh great, you're welcome, come in. The guy's full of BS. Okay, you need to be experienced. Okay, so hopefully you've already got people in that community with some knowledge about this, and they're the people that need to go and have a friendly chat with them. Just make it friendly, and just try and fire little questions at them covertly, so they don't know that they're being questioned. And based on the responses, you're going to gauge pretty quick whether that guy or girl is full of BS or not. Okay, a combat veteran is a classic one. Okay, how many people out there pretend that they've been in the military? Loads of people. They call it stolen valor, and it's disgusting. I mean, some people have even accused me. And I've always said right from day one, I was a former reserve infantry soldier for 3 years. That's it. I've not been to battles. I've never been to war. I've never been in any combat. And I've always said that. But some people, they hear it wrong, Chinese whispers or whatever. So you get someone who wants to join your community, and he said, oh yeah, I've served in Afghanistan and Optelic and Helic and stuff like this. You bring forward the guy who has actually done that. You get them to covertly question them. And based on the responses of this possible key personnel character entering your environment, they're going to smell a rat straight away. And then all they do is they just inform the right person. And I believe John said on Preparation, take them to the train station. Now, some of you Beaverines will know what I'm talking about when you say take them to the train station. Okay. In other words, see you later, alligator. Not welcome. Nice try, but thanks, but no thanks. So you're looking at, like I said earlier, people have these skills and they're going to pass them on to others. If you get one person who is skilled in all 24 of these things, I don't think they're going to be experienced enough in each and every one of those key skills. So you are going to need people with 1 or 2 skills who have got years of experience and really know what they're talking about. Okay. Now, this is a controversial one. You are now going to be faced with decisions within a community. Okay, someone new to the community, or even as it's being formed. Okay, some people would have had this and some people wouldn't have. Would you let them into your community, even if they've got really important skills which you think is going to be absolutely well important for that community? Now, I know that there's going to be a mixed bag here. Some people are going to say, no way, we're not having someone who's had that in our community, okay, for all sorts of valid reasons, okay. You're looking at future relationships, partners, children. You're looking at shedding, which we've talked about in another video recently, okay. Would you risk having that in your community? Answers on a postcard, okay. So there you go. Amiga rules and Mikey B. Yeah, I agree with you actually, but that's my own personal opinion. It'd be interesting to see what you guys think about that. And then we bring it on to people who are awake or aware, or people who are sheep or sheeple or are asleep. Okay. Now, again, just say for argument's sake that you've got 20 people in your community and all of them are aware, all of them are at errant level. Okay, so you really do know the score about things. Okay, and you are preppers and you have a couple of these skills which I mentioned earlier. The perfect community member right there. So, would you have someone new join the community who hasn't got a clue about anything? You know, they think the government are fantastic. They think the NHS really help as many people as they possibly can. All of these things, okay? Would you have one of those persons, even if they've got a key skill? So you've got no welder, and all of a sudden, this sheep person turns up wanting to join your special community, and there's an expert welder. Would you let them in? I suppose it's all based on group discussions, because I would like to see communities like this form in a true democratic fashion. So you'd have the head honcho, the guy who you've all voted for to sort of be in charge, be the boss, the leader, whatever you want to call it, and they all sit down and they have a discussion. And that discussion, based on certain things, could go on for days or hours or even a few minutes. Okay, something like that I think should be talked about, and it should be an overwhelming majority of the vote being carried. Now, even this action alone could risk splitting the community. Okay, so you're going to know from that moment on, bloody hell, that person was fully prepared to have a sheep in there. You know, I'm not too sure about him now. So it's a real fine balance with this community stuff. Okay, it's not as easy as a lot of people probably think it is. All right. So, like I said, going back to the beginning, trust. Trust is friggin' absolutely key. Big time. All right. So, one of the reasons why I took over the running for the UK Summer Prepper Meet is to get like-minded people together to actually meet face-to-face and to spend time with one another. Okay. There's people in the chat right now who come across as being amazing, but until you meet them, do you really know? It's impossible to know someone just by looking at writing on a screen. You can't look at their facial expressions, you can't read their body language, you can't listen to their tone of voice with certain topics. Okay, you just don't really know them. So that's why I set up the Prepper Meet, because you get a chance to actually meet the people. Now, loads of new people come to the Prepper Meet this year, and it's fantastic. We had nearly 200 people there from all over the UK. You even have some people overseas from Poland, America, and Germany come to the Prepper Meet. Yes, it's true. And it was really good because people got to meet people who they follow and who they chat with online. And based on the time that they've spent, based on their analysis on the interactions between those persons involved, it's down to them to sort of use their intuition, use their senses on that meeting taking place. And from that, they can then determine if it's worth continuing that friendship or indeed relationship with that person, because they've actually spent time meeting them in person. Like I said, trust is very important when you start thinking about building communities. And I know already there are lots of communities physically already all over the UK. Lots of people talk about doing it, not many people do it. But let me tell you, there are people who are in communities right now. They have got land, they are building on it as we speak. Okay, they are getting people on board to help them. Okay, another little way around this is van lifers. Van lifers are perfect because they can travel from community to community and offer their services in construction, wiring up their solar panels and all of that sort of thing. And they get to sort of meet communities. So yes, the mobile prepping errant community is very real. And yes, it is happening right now here in the UK. You just need to find a way to find them, contact them, and arrange to meet them. But it can be done. And yes, it is happening right now. Okay. And like the age-old saying, it takes a village to raise a child. So this is what we're thinking about now. We've got all of these skills all being shared. When a child is born, that child's growing up, everyone becomes a teacher and teaches that child skills. So when that child is probably at the age of 12, 13, or even less, they're going to know so much more than we did at the same age. And I think that is absolutely fundamentally key in progressing and moving forward with a post-SHTF community. So we are going to go into the chat and see what's been going on. Well, we've hovered around 600 people in here, which is pretty good considering this wasn't publicised, etc. And we've had a few new members. We've had a few donations as well, which is really awesome, which is really cool. Thank you ever so much. And I do think we had someone called Martin on PayPal leave a donation. Thank you for that, Martin. That's awesome. And yeah, all of them links, etc., are underneath the video. And yes, someone sent me an email saying, I want to send you something. What's your address? Now, you have to bear in mind, if you was in my shoes, would you give a stranger your address? The probably answer is no. All right. So I've actually spent time creating a PO box. Now, people are starting to send stuff to that PO box because I do not want my address public, and I'm sure you don't too. There's always OPSEC with preppers with that regard. So absolutely, if you wanted to, this is for the people who have been asking me for my address. That is literally below this video. You click more, the little tiny words, and it all comes up, a big description box, and everything's there, including the donations, because some people say, I want to donate, how do I do it? That is below the video. There is currently 3 methods of donating. Is PayPal, friends and family preferred, because 100% goes to the channel without a percentage cut going to PayPal. Whoops. And what other one is there? There's Coffee or Ko-fi and Buy Me a Coffee. And some people prefer to use whatever one they're used to using if they're supporting people. So yes, all of those links are below the video, and indeed in the live chat we've had people already donate on the super chat and super stickers, and indeed super thanks at any time. That's always appreciative. And also we did have someone earlier, I think it was a moderator which flashed it up there, the mailing list. Now, because of some of the topics which I discuss on this channel, there have been risks, especially recently, of this channel going offline for, first of all, it'll be a week. The second time it'd be another week. The third time, no channel. Everything I've ever done on YouTube will be erased. Okay, so if you can, sign up to the mailing list, because that is one way that I can still remain in communication with you. And all it takes is a name and an email address. It doesn't have to be your main email address. It doesn't even have to be your real name. Whatever you want, put it in there, and then you will get that newsletter. I'm trying to do them every single week, giving information and links and all of that stuff. People do say, oh, can you recommend any kit and equipment? Yes, I can, and there are affiliate links below the video too. If you click show more, there's loads of things from torches to solar chargers, really good water purifiers, which are made here in the UK, lots of other things, okay? So, and all of them have got discounts. So if you do want to look at those, you will get discounts on all of those items. So it makes sense. If you do need something, and of course money's tight, you are going to save money on everything below. And that really helps the channel too. So like I said, the mailing list, that really does help. And also, if you've got anything that you want to tell me privately and you don't wish to share on this platform, you can always send me an email, and the email address is below this video too. And yes, it works. I get emails every single day, and I try my very best to read them. it's very hard to read all of them, and it's even harder to reply to all of them. It's practically impossible because I'm getting on average between 80 and 110 emails every single day. And you can imagine if I was to sit there, it would take me all day to read them and probably a little bit longer to reply to all of them too, as well as all of your comments, watching the live chat and what's going on there. I get text messages, I get messages on Twitter, I get messages on Instagram, I get comments on Instagram, and you can appreciate it's just so vast. Okay, I mean, we're at 116,000 subs now, and it's amazing to see this channel grow, and it wouldn't grow without the wonderful people like you who watch and subscribe. And like I said, you know, if you can share this video and hit the thumbs up as well, it helps more than you probably realize, because like I said, we just want to get people in this community and helping each other, because you know, we can't. Oh my God, look, there's another one. Dale, there's a super sticker right there. Thank you very much for that donation, sir. That's Dale Webb. That's awesome. Because like I say, every single quid or every penny absolutely counts. It really does. So you guys are awesome, and I really do appreciate every bit of input that you've put into tonight's live stream. Like I said, there will be another one on Wednesday at 8 p.m. So if you want to stick that in your diary or come back, or make sure you've got a notification bell when you subscribe, that's really key, because if you don't check the notification bell, the chances are YouTube's already turned it off. Like I said before, people have told me already. So please check that your notification bell is set to all notifications, because you might miss the live streams because you're not subscribed anymore or something like that. And yeah, you're going to miss the opportunity to participate in this. Oh, look at that from Mike Symes. Thank you, dude. From a member as well. We've got new members in the house tonight. The voice of reason and truth. Well, thank you, sir. I really appreciate that. It's a very kind thing for you to say so. And like I said, feel free to send me an email if you wanted to. And that's pretty much it for tonight's show. I'm really glad that you guys stayed all the way to the end. You've been awesome, and this community is incredible. And a big shout out to John over at Prepper Nation for inspiring me to make this live stream. And yes, John and I will be doing a live stream together in around 2 weeks from now. So stay tuned, and we're going to get the Beaverines in the house, and we're going to get the Errants in the house, and we're going to party on like it's Donkey Kong. So lastly but not least, a big shout out to all of the moderators as well, because if it wasn't for you moderators with the Blue Spanner crew, it's going to be a war zone in here, and no one wants a war zone, because like I said, this is an aware community, an aware prepping community, and that is quite rare. Okay, and we want it to stay that way. We want it to be a good solid community, and we are getting new members all the time. We've had 2 or 3 tonight join. So yeah, consider becoming a member, because I will be doing a special live stream for members only very soon. So you guys take care. Thanks for watching. Stay funky.